folks. Glad you stuck with us through the break. I hope you tune into the Domestic Tapper. That looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I personally don't hold with alcohol drinking, but, there's nothing wrong with having a couple of cold beers.
There is that.
And like that. Speaking of things that are cold, run hot and cold, we've been hearing a lot about Ultima Motors, transmissions, whatever you can think of, things of that nature. And we've got some information on some Ultima stuff. Right. Now, I was told by expert Harley-Davidson mechanic that he wasn't sold yet on Ultima for a number of reasons. He looked at some of it. It wasn't sight unseen.
Yep.
Didn't like the way some of the castings looked, or didn't like the way some of the things were fit together. But anyway, Warren's got a little bit of the real information. So let's hear what he's got to say and help us put this thing together, because Ultima is taking this industry by storm with really undercutting everybody on price. Let's see if maybe we can figure out why.
And you are right, Trash. They are undercutting everybody on price. I've never seen anything like this going on eBay before. We're looking at situations where a motor that would cost $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 by S&S is going for under $4,000 by Ultima. The same kind of setup. Now, when I say the same kind of setup, I mean the same kind of specs. It's a twin cam or it's an Evo. They're basically most of Ultima's work seems to be in the Evo line. They really like doing the big inch Evos. 110, 120, 127. Right. I personally have a 127 inch Ultima sitting in the garage. It's going into a bike that we talk about a lot called the Gaster.
Is that is that what they call the Bruto?
They call it an El Bruto. El Bruto. But they seem to have dropped that sort of El Bruto thing, and they have recently come out with. Yeah, it's a good thing. They have recently come out with a shovel head version of the motor, and I believe that comes in 2 different flavors. And they're promising to come out with some more stuff. I think what happened was they came out with this stuff. They undercut everybody on the price, and now they're going, damn man, people are buying this stuff up like candy. Let's do some of these other sort of high performances.
Get some shovel heads going.
Get some panheads, get that kind of deal. Yeah, that kind of a deal. So,
anyway, what do you got here?
I got here is I wrote on the website. That's www.kickstarttv.com. You can go to the fabulous bulletin board section. I posted up a comment saying, "What does anybody know about Ultima? What have you heard? Have you heard good? Have you heard bad? Let's talk about this thing and get it out there in the open." Well, I got this from Fat Bob, who is a member of the Kickstart TV Garage. RE Ultimate Motors. I have a 113-inch setting in the garage for my build, but no experience with them yet. There are some people bitching about oil leaks on the engine's main seal, but Ultima tells you what to do when you put it in your build to prevent it. Here's a link to the owner's manual. You'll find the answer here, and they tell you where to go online. Let's take a look at that picture you got right up there. Switch over to that picture you got there. This is what they actually provide you, which is kind of nice. They actually give you instructions on how to sort of preemptive strike against that leak, which is kind of nice that they admit that it's there and that, but then again, you're buying a $4,000 piece of gear.
Okay.
I'd rather not work on it.
Right.
ClubChopper.com has a few people having the leak issue, and some are just too dumb to read the manual they got with the motor. Thank you, Bob. There are also one noted case where the stator mounting bolt holes were drilled too deep and oil was leaking around them. That is not good. Yeah. Again, an easy fix with thread sealer when you put the bolts in.
Yeah, but that's like a hole that's supposed to be a blind hole that's drilled all the way through the motor case and allowing oil.
You got it.
That is ungood. That's poor quality control.
That is poor quality control.
But what it is it harkens back. It's reminiscent of the AMF years at Harley Davidson. Those are the kinds of problems they had. I knew a man that was a Harley Davidson dealer in those years, and he said, "You just have no idea some of the things that came out of the crates when they would deliver them to them." And I think it was always an adventure.
I think the deal is with Ultima that right now, they're a new face in the game, and maybe their quality control will come up. Here's a letter from this is from Grumpy, who we looked at his shovel head earlier today. I read somewhere on the internet that they have timing issues with the Ultima motors. I also read that all RevTech motors are being built in the USA now. Boy, I couldn't tell you crap about RevTech. They have fallen off the face of the earth. As far as promotions, as far as advertising in the periodicals, RevTech motors were hot, and it's sort of like Ultima took them over.
Okay, let me make this statement. I heard a lot of bad things about RevTech. especially when I was building my beloved Captain America. I bought a set of RevTech gears for my transmission, and a friend of mine who is a PhD Harley wrench said, I have never put anything RevTech together that I didn't have to massage to get it to work. Now, I didn't find that. I put my transmission together, it slid together like it was, and this was from RevTech gears and a Cal Products case. I mean, nothing was
from the same manufacturer.
That's right.
Yeah. So they were just,
and it all slid together. Of course, thanks to the wonderful John C. Cordson for helping me. He's a 4-speed wizard. But at the same time, we didn't have to do anything except slide it all together.
Now that says a lot about it. Now, as far as as back to our Ultima issue, there we got one more letter. This is from.
Let me interrupt you just briefly, Warren. What I wanted to say about that after the transmission story was this week I'll find out about RevTech. I'll look into it personally. I'll see what they're doing. Are they indeed in the United States? And are they putting out motors? What's going on?
What the heck's going on? They fell off the face of the earth, and Ultima picked up the flag. So anyway, Fat Bob writes back to Grumpy, forgot about the timing issue. I've read a few people that have had the ignition fail in the nose cone. They can't take the heat there. Some have put on the Daytona Twin-Tex, which is a nose cone based ignition, and they've had a lot of good luck with that. Now, if the only thing that ever goes wrong with it is the nose cone module blows out and you replace it and you're good for the rest of your life, that ain't a bad deal. When you consider that you're paying 50% less than about what you pay for an SNS. So I think it's good that they're providing this kind of thing, that they're sort of saying, we got a little leak, you got to patch it up. I mean, if you're wrenching on a bike, this is no great shakes, man. This is 2 minutes,
Right.
But I will be very interested to see how this 127 cubic inch motor performs, what's coming out of Ultima in the future, and are we looking at a company that's going to take on the likes of S&S, or are they going to become just another, Korean kind of knockoff deal that fades into the sunset?
Boy, I'll tell you,
they stick around.
I am too. They're going to have to go a long ways to beat S&S. And I'll tell you, because of the fact that the mechanic that I do think so highly of, that's helping build the Evo motor for my Softail, we discussed it. We thought about using Ultima wheels and rods.
I know you talked about that.
Because we could get the set for a 100-inch motor for a nickel or so, and that was unbeatable. But when we sat down and discussed it, when it all came down to brass tacks, he said, Dave, let's go with S&S. Let's go with what we know, because he knows, first of all, how I handle the motorcycle, how I ride it, and I don't flog it. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't beat it to death, but there's no grass growing under me either. I think Warren will attest to that.
Absolutely.
That I do get it on pretty hard.
And I think that when you're looking at building a motor or building a bike like this, look at what you're going to be doing with this bike. For me, I'm building the Gasser. It's going to be a really fun bike. It's a round town kind of machine.
Right.
I may take it on a couple of day trips and stuff like this, but this ain't no 3-week on the road bike.
Mine is.
Yours is. So we're looking at some substantially different things that we're looking to get out of the bike. And so for me, the Ultima motor seemed like a great choice. We'll see.
I agree with you. And the Softail is going to go back to Death Valley. It's going to go, in Arizona during the height of the season.
Now, if I was going to do that with the Gasser, first of all, I'd have to pull all the carburetors would have to come off that thing, and I'd have to put one carburetor instead of 4. And there's a lot of things that would have to be changed out to make it more dependable for the long road haul. But anyway, that's coming up in a while. We'll be taking a look at that. Don't forget, we've got a great set of those Patriot pipes. Peacemaker pipes. Peacemaker pipes sitting in the garage that are going to go up.
We're just waiting.
We're waiting to put those
Officer Poloni, we're coming for you, brother.
We're going to turn that sucker right down.
We're coming for you with our Peacemaker pipes, because we're going to make the whole thing work.
That's fun.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Let's take a break.
All righty.
Let's take a break. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. We got a couple of good things for you. Equipment Shed, as I promised from last week, we're going to finish some stuff that we got started then. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
That's right.
Kickstart TV, the show that cares about what you've got to say about the world of motorcycling and motorcycle building.
Oh, I've got a helmet. I got a beauty.
Honey, we need to talk.